I'm Member. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. So for today's pick a card, we're doing what big transformation is happening for you. We have 3 piles. This is pile 1, Foggy Bog Patience 18 with the orange calcite. Pile 2, we have Forest Temple Enlightenment 19 with clear quartz. And then for the third pile, we have Pine Spirit Purifications 30 with the amethyst. So take your time. The links to the piles will be in my description box, and I am open to personal readings as well, and my website is also in my description box, and I will give you guys a few seconds to go to whatever one you feel intuitively called to, and then I will see you guys on the other side. Hi, Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So for today's pick a card, we're doing what big transformation is happening. We've got Foggy Bog Patience 18, we've got Stag Spirit Leadership 39, Dragon Power 11, Last Quarter Moon in Libra, Make Time for Self-Love, Last Quarter Moon in Leo, Lighten Up, Last Quarter Moon in Sagittarius, Practice Gratitude. We have 7 Covenant Sacred Contract, 21 First Breath Beginner's Mind, 17 Eye of the Needle Intentionality. We have 33 South Node Past, 34 North Node Future, and 6 Virgo Digest. So, wow, at first I was like, I got caught up here because you're in last quarter moons in all 3 of these cards, and then we have 33 and 34 South Node Past and North Node Future. There's something really major going on for you guys, like extremely, extremely major. And it has to do with your power, and it has to do with cultivating strength. And there's something you're finishing up. There's some cycle that's coming to a big end. I feel like it's something that's been in your life for a very long time, and you're walking away from something that's been in your life for a very long time. And I feel like there's strength that's being born out of you walking away from this, or finally being able to walk away from this. I feel like it's something that's been in your life for a very long time. You may have felt before this thing that you're walking away from was really a part of you and who you are. And I think that through healing, you've realized that this is something that's actually, it may have fit you in the past, but it's not fitting you in the future. Like, I think a lot of you have done a lot of healing, and it's almost like sometimes when we do healing, we have a bunch of layers we need to get through, and masks even. And you went through all the healing layers of the masks, right? I'm not saying like mask isn't like mask, but like there's like the last mask, you may have thought it was who you were in connection with this thing, and you shed this mask and you thought it was who you were, but really you realized it was another mask you were wearing, something that was fitting you at the time, and you may have fit yourself really small in the past because you felt like this thing was part of something of who you are. It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a friendship, it could something that was really comforting in the past, something that was you felt like it was your future, you felt like it was everything for you. And I think that you've done a lot of healing, and the transformation that's happening is something like you've let go of this last mask, and you've realized that it's not something you want, it's not who you are, and that like there's a more authentic way of living in a deeper space that you can get connected to, and it's not with this thing or person or situation anymore. And I feel that there's a lot of sadness when losing anything, and I feel there's this resistance, not really resistance is very small, but like sadness around losing this thing. But I also feel like I can see the sadness, right? But I also can feel this major transformation of power and strength and intentional movement and self-love and authenticity. And you may be in this feeling of being between the past and the future. I just saw 4:44 in the clock right when I said that on my timer, and it's 33:34. There you may be in between this feeling of the past and the future, as in like a transition between where you want to be and where you are. And this transition may be very uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of what you're finding right now is probably very uncomfortable. A lot of things that you're having to realize, a lot of things that you're having to feel as you go through this transition. You may feel like there's no anchors. You may not feel anchored in anywhere, maybe because this thing was part of your identity. I'm getting like a lot of you have let this go and or are trying to let it go and move forward, and it's hard because it's been a part of your identity for so long that it almost feels like an existential crisis a little bit. But I also feel this, you're intentionally moving forward and letting go of the past and moving into the future, but in a way that's very like slow, and not slow as in like bad slow. I mean like slow as in like really careful, really strategic, really finite. I don't know why I'm hearing finite. I don't know why I'm hearing finite from spirit. There was a sacred contract that you were meant to let go of, but the letting go of this contract has given you strength, cultivated strength, but it also causes discomfort, because anytime we move through something really painful, it's gonna be anytime we move into a transition or go to a new place or go to a new relationship or move into a new job, anytime we do anything new that's unknown, it's going to be uncomfortable. And you have the added fact of like you having this thing that you're leaving behind that's been so a part of you that you don't want to let go of, but you know that you have to follow your soul's path, to follow your life in the way that it's moving in the flow, and your intuition's telling you that you can't be here anymore, that this is not good for you, that it's not helping you step in your power, it's not helping you be in leadership. And by making the choice to move forward, you're moving into a new role, and it's like a leadership role and a power role. And there's a lot of patience. Patience is your main card. There's a lot of patience that's needed, because you may feel like you should be doing something you're not, or like feeling like you should be in the future already, but like there's a lot of steps that you're having to make to get there. And it's about like loving yourself in those steps, and recognizing that because you're making the steps, everything's going to be okay. And that like we have lighten up, make time for self-love, and practice gratitude. There is this feeling of like, how can you give yourself as much grace and compassion for how hard this thing is to leave behind, and also knowing that by doing the action of moving forward, it's good enough. Like, you don't have to be over here yet. There's something that you're learning in the process. There's a transformation that's happening in this process of movement, in this process of self-love, in this process of going after what you want, in this process of healing while you leave something behind, and the pain that's associated with leaving it behind, and getting connected to healing. And it's definitely this thing you have, this contract that's been in your life for a long time. It could be a relationship. I'm not trying to, I think it's very general. I'm trying to be general because I feel like it's different for all of you, because it could be anything, right? And it's like, I think a lot of you, it's a relationship, but it could be like a house, it could be a job, it could be a friendship, it could be an identity, a role you're playing. I don't know why, but I felt like it's hard. It's maybe hard to speak about this. It may be hard to think about this. This is hard. So I just want you to give yourself this hardness. Not this hardness. Can I just give yourself the fact that this is hard? I was going to say something and then I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, guys. I might have lost it. There's also this Spirit wants you to think about, I think you're thinking about this future in a way that's a little bit dark colored glasses, or maybe you're not seeing it clearly. There's a cloud over what I'm seeing when you look in the future of where you're going, and it's actually the sun. And Spirit's saying that sometimes when we have to leave things behind, we think we're never going to be able to get anything better, or we think it's not going to be, grass is not going to be greener on the other side. And this is one of those times that Spirit's like, no, that you're moving into the sun. Your intuition and your heart is leading you here. So because your intuition and heart is leading you here, there's miracles and abundance that is waiting for you. And it may be hard to see it like that. And so Spirit is wanting you to make sure that when you look at this, you're thinking about it objectively, and also recognizing that because you're leaving this thing behind that's been so important to you, that is so painful, it may be skewing your view on like what's going on actually, and what you're actually seeing. And Spirit is saying, try to be intentional about how you see this, and making sure that, or just noticing if you're having, if you're feeling any sort of way about this future in a negative or skewed way. See that for what it is, which is this fear of moving forward, and this fear and this pain and this loss of leaving this thing behind that you've been having for so much, right? And try to see it from an intentional beginner's mind first breath. So like see it as this beautiful dream, because Spirit is saying dream really big, because this, what you're stepping into, is your wish fulfillment, is your dreams. You're gonna find things here that you need, and you're gonna get what you need, and better and more fulfilling than you did over here in this, from this thing that you're leaving behind. And there's this I think you recognize that you need to move slow, and you need to be as graceful and as compassionate as possible. And Spirit's just saying, because you're having patience, because you're trying to love yourself as much as possible, that's what's going to make the situation a lot easier. And there is leadership and strength and power being born out of this, leaving this thing that you've had for so long. And your south node and your north node may be in play here. Like my south node is in Cancer, my north node is in Capricorn. So it's also maybe recognizing like what you're moving away from is probably your south node. It's not just about this thing you're leaving behind, but you really you're leaving behind the past, right? And your south node is your past. But whatever sign you have, it's connected with your sign. So like if it was Cancer, I'm just gonna go with mine. If it's Cancer, then it's gonna be, you're leaving behind maybe this feeling of home and emotional and like this feeling of like a home that was yours before. And then you're moving into your future, which would be Capricorn, which would be like practicality and like discipline, and like moving into like authority and inner authority, right? Like, so like whatever your south node is and your north node is, if you know what it is, look at it from that point of view as well. Also look at it as you are leaving the past behind and you are moving into the future, and you're not the same person you were when this thing worked for you in the past. You're a different person now, and that's why this is happening, because of the healing you have. And that may be hard to like take in, that may be hard to like feel, but it's like feel it as much as possible and try not to suppress it, and love yourself as much as possible. Try to accept where you're at right now and understand that it's not if but when this happens. Have the patience, like you already are, to keep moving forward, understanding that this is a massive transformation in and of itself. But when you get into this new space or this new place or whatever this new thing, this future thing that you're going into, that's also going to, once you get there, you're going to feel so blessed and so relieved and so fulfilled. And you're going to be like, why didn't I do this sooner? That's kind of what I'm hearing. And it's just, try to take comfort in the fact that Spirit is really like, this is the right move. And I think that Spirit has been pushing you to do this for a long time. And I think that Spirit is really wanting you to make this move. I just try not to feel pressured too much. Like, because if you're making the right moves, let's say you're making the right moves. Let's say you're making actions towards this and it's not happening yet. If you're making the moves, then that's good enough. There's no pressure you're not doing something you're supposed to be doing if you're making the moves. If you're not making the moves, then there needs to be moves that are made. But I feel like all of you are making the moves. I don't feel like any of you, I haven't had the feeling to tell any of you like you should be making moves towards this, because I think that every one of you has. So it's like, and understand that there's like a lot to digest, and there may be a lot of details and shit that you're trying to figure out, and the details may be overwhelming you. And it's like, focus on one task at a time, do one thing at a time, find your power, find your love for yourself, and understand how much is actually going on here, because there's a lot of layers to this. I feel like there's a lot of layers in the fact that you're leaving something behind that's been so close to your identity, but also the fact that there's also a lot of underneath things. Like, I don't know why I'm getting this, but like, so I'm trying to make it an example. So like, let's say you're leaving a relationship, right? Let's say you're leaving a relationship behind that you've been in for a very long time. You may have had a relationship prior to this where you left that relationship behind, and there may have been a lot of pain that was there. So like, you leaving this behind isn't only just connected to this thing you're leaving behind. It's probably connected, I feel like it's connected to past things that are very similar to this. And then also you could have a childhood wound that's also a part of this. So it's like having the compassion for, and the maybe understanding that there's a lot going on here that you may not see, that may be hidden from you, that may be deeply in your subconscious, that maybe these feelings may be coming up. Not just the fact that it's really hard to leave behind because it's a part of your identity and you've loved it for so long and you didn't ever think that you'd be out of it, or maybe you didn't ever think that you would change, right? So that's really hard. Add in the fact that there may be other situations that are being brought up for healing because of this, and also other situations as in like even farther back as in like childhood that are being brought up. So like that's also why this is so transformational, is because you're choosing yourself, right? And it's like this may be the first time you felt like you've actually been able to take practical action in choosing yourself in a way that was like really evolved and really, like, I heard spirit say highlighted, I don't know why, but moving in this way is something that you may have not been able to do before. And that's why this power, this dragon and this power, it's almost like there's so much power being born out of this move that you're making. And there's just, it's just a lot. It's a lot. But it's funny because the more painful something is, which is kind of sucky, the more transformational it is. And I feel like this is probably one of the most painful things you've ever done. And so just having so much compassion for the fact that that's the case, and it's very connected to everything in your past, and also it's connected to your future and your path and your life's path and your life's purpose. So it's like, this is a really massive transformation. And I'm seeing like, it's almost like you're on a roller coaster and you're on the down part and you're looking around like, what's going on? Why do I feel so like, why do I feel like this sucks? Like, this is really not a fun place to be. But it's like you're about to move up on the roller coaster and things are about to change for you in a really big way. And it's like, don't get stuck on the down part. Like, keep moving forward, keep taking these steps. You're gonna move upward, and then it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, everything's gonna be okay. You're moving in the right way. Take small steps, give yourself a lot of rest and a lot of love, and just keep moving forward, because you guys are doing amazing. I'm just so proud of you. I just feel like this is a really, really big transformation that's happening, and it's very painful. So give yourselves that part. Is there anything else I need to see about what big transformation are going through? Anything I'm missing? Okay, so there's temptation, and it came out sideways, but I'll put it upright. Is that reverse or sideways, Spirit? I'm just going to keep it sideways. I usually don't. I've been trying to take things more sideways and sideways. Of course, like everything's coming out sideways now. Discontent and boredom. We've got truth. Temptation sideways. I wonder what that's about. Hold on. Choose wisely and awareness. So what I'm feeling with this temptation card is that there may be coping mechanisms that are tempting you because of how painful this is. And also, it may be in connection with this discontent and boredom, because I feel like if you're in this like discomfort a lot because of how everything's not anchored and how you're in this massive transition and transformation, that like these things might be popping up, but they're sideways. So it's like, I think that means that you're overcoming these temptations and evolving in a whole new way through the truth of what's going on. You're trying to see things, like we've got awareness and truth, and they're both major arcana. You're trying to see things as they are and not suppress or put illusions over it. There's this choose wisely card. I think this is an energy you're feeling. I don't think that spirit is telling you to choose wisely. I mean, obviously choose wisely, but I think this is like saying you may feel like you have a lot of choices and you don't know what to choose, but this is about recognizing that you have the awareness and the truth inside you, and you know how to access this, and you know how to choose wisely. So it's like trusting in the fact that you have the awareness and the truth to choose wisely, and also recognizing how you have overcome temptation and how you have evolved so much and how you are overcoming this discontent and boredom. I think a part of the reason that you're moving forward into the future in a new way is because you're tired of having discontent and boredom, and you're tired of having the devil at your door. And I mean like the devil at your door, like accepting, it could be accepting bad behavior. It could be accepting the fact that this doesn't feel fulfilling. That's what it is. It could be the fact that this devil energy is sideways now because it might have been upright in the situation you were at, and now you're turning it sideways, and it's going to move. You're in the transition between, and then it's going to move reverse when you move into this new, when you move into the future, right? So you're at a crossroads, and you're at this transition, and you're recognizing how this temptation, it could be just anything that chains you to the past. You're letting that go and unchaining yourself, and you're in the transition of unchaining yourself. And it's like you've made the decision to unchain yourself. You're moving forward to unchaining yourself, and it's recognizing that you have done the work to do this, and that it will turn this way when you finally get, there's some details that need to be handled. Like there's like, if you're going for a new job, you haven't gotten the job yet, you're looking for a job. That's like, or like, let's say you're moving, you're looking for an apartment like I am. Or let's say you're looking for a new relationship, and it's like about seeing that you have moved through this, you have chosen yourself, and it's just having the patience to wait to find the right job, find the right apartment, find the right relationship, and recognizing that you're moving out of this temptation. It's just you have to have patience because you're trying to choose wisely, you're trying to find the truth, and giving yourself that, and also giving yourself grace for maybe feeling like I need to know now, I need to be in this future right now, but you're not supposed to be there yet. And Spirit's saying it's okay. You're taking the time to choose wisely because you are evolved, and that takes time. And it doesn't mean you're not going to be out of it. It's just it's just when, no. It's not if, but when, right? That's what I mean. It's not if, but when. This is happening. This is turning. You've made the decision to turn it. You're taking steps to turn it. That's all you need. Trust yourself. This is what this is about. Trust yourself. Anything else, Spirit? Prosperity begins. Anything else? I don't know why I want to keep pulling more. I also see solar plexus chakra and sacral chakra. So this is changing yourself on such a deep level. What you're going through right now is changing yourself and changing how you go after what you want in life and your power and getting connected to your power. This is also about getting connected to your creativity, because there's something here about the creative aspect of choosing wisely. Like maybe you're taking your creativity and your intuition and combining them when making this choice on what you want and how you want to go about it. Like let's say you want a job, right? But you're trying to find a job where you feel fulfilled, where you feel like you can be in your power, and you feel like you are following your creativity to the nth degree, right? Like that's what this is about. And then of course we have fertility right here sitting on top. So there's something, you're birthing something new. There's so many things going on here, guys. It's like a lot of you are in multiple transitions in different areas of your life. And that also maybe why it feels so discombobulating, and so like why you may feel not grounded, and you may not feel anchored, because you're birthing something completely new in almost every area of your life, because you have changed yourself and evolved it as a soul so much that everything around you is changing. It's really amazing, you guys. I think it's just really strong energy, and I think that being proud of yourself for how far you've come is going to be really good for you guys. Be proud of yourself. This is really hard to go through, and you're going through major transformations. I'm thinking like, okay, think about it, right? So going through this ending, that getting to the decision of going through the ending was probably a major transformation. First of all, you healed, so that was transformation. Then you made the decision to leave the relationship or the job or the whatever it is before you did it, and that was transformation. And then you're now taking the steps and the process of transitioning. That's transformation. And then when you get there, it's going to be transformation. So it's like you've been through some major transformations in the last, I don't know how long this took you. I think you've been sitting with this decision for a while, and you're finally now taking the leap. And it's like, but all these steps took major healing and major transformations to get here. So it's like giving yourself that, and probably just like looking maybe a year ago and seeing how much you've evolved. It's like that will help you be able to trust yourself a little bit more, move into your strength, and realize how much power you have as a soul and as a person, and how much you can take care of yourself. This is also about taking care of yourself in a new way. And like trusting that you can take care of yourself because you've done this so much work and so many transformation. Look, maturity. Wow. Like, okay, thanks, Spirit. That's perfect. I'm like, oh my God. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, you've matured so much through this whole thing, through the last year, through your life, and so quickly. Like this stuff takes people a long time, and I feel like you guys did it in like a year or two, like figuring all this out and admitting to yourself and evolving and healing. Ordinariness. That's interesting. I wonder what that's about. Hold on. We've got we are the world and traveling. A lot of you are moving and a lot of you are traveling to a new space. It could be you could be going to a new job. It could be traveling to a new relationship. There's we are the world. What's this ordinariness about, Spirit? We've got Thunderbolt. Maybe it's like getting connected to like what makes you feel comfortable and like there's a thunderbolt through ordinariness. Maybe you're tired. Maybe this is about like, you're not ordinary, guys. You're just not. You're different, you're unique, you're rare, you're powerful. And there's this thunderbolt through like maybe this thing that you're leaving behind was keeping you in this ordinariness of not feeling like you're special, of not feeling like you're meant to change the world, guys. I mean, we have this world card. And this move is meant to change the world in some way. You're meant to step in your power in a different way, and that's changing the collective and it's changing the world. And there's this thunderbolt of like a tower through the fact that like you're not okay with just sitting in the ordinariness of life. You want a life that's powerful. You want a life that's exciting. You want to feel alive. You want to do things that make you feel purpose and make you feel creative and make you feel like excited about life. You're not ordinary, guys. You're not. And there's something, because you're meant to change the world, there's this thunderbolt through like, I'm not okay with I don't want to be in this energy of ordinariness when I'm not ordinary. I'm not. You're not. And it's like stepping into the thunderbolt of you, who you are as an actual soul, because you've shed all these layers of skins that aren't fitting you anymore, and stepping into the world in a new way and in a totally mature, evolved, highly spiritual, highly vibrant way. That's what this is about. And I just think that you guys should be so proud of yourselves for doing this. This is a major thing you guys are going through. And I feel like I don't know if I should do a reading today. And I felt this need to do this reading for this reason. And you guys are the pile that I felt like I should do this reading for, because of I've been feeling this energy. I've been going through this energy too, but I've been feeling this energy on a collective level, and I felt like it would be very helpful and hopefully healing and supportive and encouraging, because all you guys really need, pile one, is encouragement and support and love for yourself, and to continue making the right steps, which you already are. So it's like you just need encouragement and support from Spirit and from me to know that this is the right move, and to know that you're doing everything right. You're taking the steps that need to be taken, and just having the patience and acceptance for this transition that you're in, but seeing it for what it is. Because I think that maybe because it feels so uncomfortable, you may not be seeing it for what it is. And what it is major transformational power and leadership, and a major transformation and a thunderbolt through the world, as in like massive change, because you're raising your vibration by moving into this new thing, and you're choosing yourself in a brand new way. And I'm just so proud of you guys. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. Like and subscribe if you can, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Hi, Pal 2. Welcome to your reading. So for today's pick a card, we're doing what big transformation is happening for you. We have Forest Temple Enlightenment 19, Bluebird Spirit Happiness 7, Frog Spirit Renewal 20. We have New Moon in Taurus, Know Your Worth. Last quarter moon in Aquarius, Reflect on Your Priorities. Last quarter moon in Pisces, Talk Less, Feel More. We have 27 Heart Home Compassion, 4 Caterpillar Opportunity, 41 Moon Maiden New Beginnings, 4 Cancer Immerse, 33 South Node Past, and 6 Virgo Digest. So when I was tapping into your energy, I really feel like there's an opportunity that you guys have, and I'm like, there's this feeling, there's an opportunity that's presenting itself to you, and I feel like if it's not happening yet, then there's about to be an opportunity. But I think that most of you know about this opportunity, and I feel like it's something that really scares you, and it's something that can bring about a great transformation. I think a transformation's happening is like your ability to know your worth, to go after this opportunity that you're seeing. It could be a new job. It could be a new relationship. There's something here about a major opportunity of happiness and fulfillment. And there's this feeling of like apprehension that is happening for that opportunity. And I think there's so many 4s. We got 4, 41, 4. And I feel like these 4s are about your foundation, and about the opportunity is an opportunity of a foundational aspect of your life. There's something that is foundational that you could give yourself of this opportunity, but I'm feeling that there is this old wound that's keeping you from going after this opportunity. There may be, or maybe you are going after this opportunity and there is an uncertainty, a feeling of fear or resistance that's there regardless of that. You may be going after the opportunity anyways. I feel like actually that's the thing. You guys are going after the opportunity. You see this opportunity, but there is this fear of moving forward with the opportunity because of something you're leaving behind or because of a childhood wound. There's some wound here that's happening that's keeping you from feeling like you can move into this in a flowing way and move into this with in a full enlightened way. I think that this feeling of uncertainty is leading you towards enlightenment. There's like this feeling of like, when you are there for yourself, when you can heal this, there's an opportunity of healing, right? When you heal this, when you move into this in a flowing and loving way with your dreams like front and center, then that's causing this healing that's happening. It's almost like you're meant to feel this resistance and fear to show you that there's something here to heal, to move into the healing of it, heal it, and that's this big transformation that's happening. And there's an opportunity that you're moving into, and this opportunity will be transformational, and I think you know that. And Aquarius is really sticking out to me. I'm an Aquarius, and maybe that's why, but probably not. I usually don't have signs that stick out to me a lot, but Aquarius is really popping out for me, and I think that with Aquarius, it's like going after what you want in a really innovative and creative way. And it's almost like I feel like you guys are trying to move closer to your life's purpose and your purpose as a soul and a fulfillment as yourself. And there is this feeling of like needing to take action. And I think you are taking action to go after this opportunity. But I think that there's this apprehensive feeling of fear that's happening, and you're like, okay, I don't want to feel fear, I just want to move into this, I know it's good for me, why can't I just move into this? And it's like, well, it's because there's healing that needs to happen. There's this renewal that needs to happen in seeing things in a different way and seeing it in a new light and moving after it in a new way. And I think that there's this massive new beginning of an opportunity that you're looking at. And I think that there's this feeling of not wanting to immerse yourself in the beauty of it because of, or not even not wanting, I think you want to move into the beautiful, and you want to immerse yourself into the beautifulness of it. And I think there's this feeling of resistance and fear that's happening that's overriding that ability of immersement into the beauty of whatever this is. And it's like that fear and that feeling of like, I don't know why I feel resistant and fearful of this. Well, there's a loss associated with it. And it's like recognizing that fear is connected to probably a childhood wound, and like having compassion for the fact that there is fear and accepting the fact that there's fear and not trying to push yourself into something else, but also like recognizing that you may be not looking at it in the way that you may be fearful of like if this opportunity is going to be good enough or if this opportunity really is going to be better. But like recognizing that feeling of fear and not knowing what it's going to be is more rooted in a childhood wound and more rooted in the fear than it is actually like what this opportunity actually is. And I think you can see that. I think you're recognizing that. And the transformation is like seeing everything. It's almost like noticing everything that's happening and not maybe moving into the mind space of the fear space and like recognize you, like, I see the fear, I see you. But I'm not going to like go to catastrophizing. And I think the transformation that's happening is not catastrophizing everything that's happening. And it's not letting your mind take over. It's like talk less, feel more. It's like feel more of the emotions that are happening, but don't move into like letting your mind go off and like make a bunch of crazy things happen that like haven't happened. It's like staying in the now, staying in what's going on, recognizing and noticing what's happening. And maybe the transformation also is that you are able to notice what's happening. Maybe you're not going into the mind space and getting totally caught up, even though you know there's fear. But I think that there's just like a lot going on in your mind because of how jarring and this may feel to you as a person, and maybe to your inner child, this may feel very jarring to your inner child. That's what I'm feeling. And it's like recognizing that the jarring is happening not because of the opportunity that's happening and not because of what it actually will be, but only because of the past and how your past is maybe coming into play here, and recognizing it all and just being very, just noticing that that's what's happening, and noticing that just because I'm afraid of what might happen doesn't mean the things that I'm afraid of will happen. It's just recognizing that it's coming from a place of wounding. And it's like knowing your worth. This is really loud. Knowing your worth, like, you deserve this opportunity, guys. And I think that the transformation also that's happening is understanding that, like, you finally feel like you can go after this because you are recognizing your worth and giving yourself that. Like, I am going after this. I am really afraid, but it's because I know that I deserve better in whatever way, shape, or form, whatever situation, whatever relationship, whatever job, whatever this is. And I think a lot of you, it could be multiple things that you're looking at. Pile 1 is very similar to this. So if you feel called to pile 1, go to pile 1. But there is this there's an enlightenment that's happening spiritually, because I think you're noticing what's going on. I think you've separated your ego from your consciousness in a much more distinct way. And I think you're realizing a lot of things by doing this. I think you're like, there's this other way of being that I can be that feels better, that makes me feel more comforted, that makes me feel like I can do this. Step into that more. Step into that noticing space. Step into that being a little bit detached, as in like looking at what's going on and not identifying with the fear and your pain body, but identifying with you as a being, as a consciousness, and recognizing that because you feel fear and pain, it doesn't mean that's who you are. I think that you've done a lot of healing to not identify with that, and it's showing that transformation of like that separation is showing finally. And it's like you're recognizing everything that's going on and not letting it overtake you. You're not getting hijacked anymore by the emotions of fear, the catastrophizing. And that's the transformation that's going on. It is really good. Like, I'm like, this is really amazing, you guys. There's this purification of your soul to be able to step into your soul more and your actual being, instead of stepping into the mind space and stepping into the pain space and stepping into the wounding space. And that doesn't mean ignoring the wounding space. That doesn't mean not feeling the feelings. That doesn't mean suppressing. But it is like detaching a little bit to be able to see it for what it is, feel it for what it is, and move forward with a new perspective. There's like a higher evolved perspective that's going on here with you guys that is really gorgeous and beautiful. And it's like giving yourself that and not letting your mind take over and say, oh, I'm suppressing because I'm like in my being. No, you're not suppressing. You're feeling, and you're detaching in a different way to being as a soul. And there's a new foundation that's being born out of that being more, being in the moment more, moving slower, like recognizing the sensual part, maybe recognizing your body a little bit more. There's this feeling of like, I think you've been recognizing, I think a lot of you haven't been attached to your body for most of your life, and a lot of the healing that you've done has been attaching yourself to your body or being in your body more. And I think that by being this being, you're recognizing maybe pains in your body that you haven't had before, or you haven't noticed the pains in your body. And I think you're moving from a space of like being, so that you can recognize, you can be in your body more, but also recognize that there's pains that have been there that are maybe attached to childhood wounds, or just maybe just like muscle pain. And I think you're recognizing that more because you're in this space of being, and there's an evolvement of consciousness that's happening because you've been able to be in this consciousness more, and you're like opening it up more. You're opening your consciousness more. Your consciousness is growing. And I think that like, it's just, I mean, like, I'm very impressed, and I hope that you guys are so impressed with yourselves, because this is super evolved stuff, and I think that this is super scary and very activating, and yet you're not moving into that space of like I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid. You're actually moving with courage through the fear, and that's helping you evolve as a soul more. And also there's an evolvement of consciousness, an evolvement of being that's helping you with this. And it's almost like I hear like this came at the perfect time. Like your ability to recognize that your mind is not who you are, and that your mind can sometimes play tricks on us because it wants to stay in control and it's afraid of dying. The ego's all about not dying, right? And it means like the mind, there's like a pleasure sometimes it's derived from the mind when we go into it. And I think you're recognizing that the mechanisms and the patterns that are happening, and you're not moving into that space anymore. And there's this freedom of independence and this freedom of not having to feel like your mind is in control all the time. And I just, it's really beautiful, guys. It's also, in the beginning of doing this, it can be exhausting because you're consciously always trying to be in your being instead of being in your mind and noticing. It's a conscious effort to notice things, but it will get easier. And Spirit saying it will become second nature. The more you practice this, the more it will become second nature, and you have to intentionally practice it for it to become second nature. So I think just continuing to practice and recognizing if your mind is like, there's something wrong here, this is not right, that's your mind just trying to stay in control. And it's like just recognizing it for what it is and continue to be in the moment, continue to be, because I think a lot of you have been either in the past or the future most of your lives. And I think you're now recognizing how to be in the now. And there's this beautiful freedom in being in the now, and this beautiful consciousness that's being born from being in the now. And this consciousness has always been a part of you. It's just, we don't work on that part. We work on our mind, thinking if our mind can just be really strong, and that's an ego thing, and that's also a protection mechanism that our mind comes up with when we're from childhood or from pain. And it's like you're recognizing all of these beautiful intricacies of the way the mind works by noticing it and coming from this space of a different space. And you're also, I think, able to deal with maybe you're coping better because of it. And that's also making this transition a little bit easier, because you guys are in a major transition of transformation, and that can be really painful. But I think you're just trying to find better ways to cope and better ways to just be more enlightened. And I think it's really gorgeous. All right, Spirit, anything else for the big transformations happening for... We've got passion ignited. This is following your passion. I think it came out a little sideways, but I think this passion ignited, you're following your passion wherever that leads you. And I think that that's not been something you've done before. So it's like giving yourself the grace for the fact that this is still something very new that you may be actually feeling comfortable to go after, and having compassion for the fact that this is new. And also that give yourself the fact that you are going after this new opportunity. Give yourself that, because you may feel like, your mind may feel like, I'm not doing this, or like I'm not really doing it in the way I should be doing it, even though I'm taking action. That's just your mind playing tricks on you. You're taking action, and if you're taking action, then that's all that matters. You're going to get to where you want to go. You're going to go after this opportunity. And it's like allowing that understanding that your mind is playing tricks on you, and that you actually are going after what you want, and not letting it play its mind tricks on you, right? Because the fear is trying to keep you safe. Look, mental conflict in reverse. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, you're not letting the mental conflict take over you anymore. And that is such a massive transformation in and of itself, on top of the fact that you're going after a new opportunity, you're following your passion, you're trying to think of things in a different way, you're trying to heal. It's like there's so much going on here that's extremely, hard to go through, and yet you're handling it in an extremely evolved, conscious way. It's really beautiful, guys. Anything else, Spirit? There's this rejoice and celebration in reverse. There could be this feeling of like, I need to be really serious and not have fun right now because I need to focus on this so much. Yeah, there's a breakdown. Okay, here we go. So there's a breakdown in your foundation to build up a better foundation. You're breaking down your own foundation. It's almost like the tower reversed. I always see the tower reverse as like you're choosing to break a foundation down to rebuild a better foundation, and you're choosing to break down a foundation that hasn't been serving you to build up a new foundation. There is a need for a little bit more lighter energy and fun that you could be having, but there's also an understanding of like that's a defense mechanism as well, and play may be harder to get into because you're trying to manage all of these things. So just like having compassion for that part. Prosperity begins. You guys are beginning a whole new cycle. There's 2 ones here. You're starting from a whole new space because you've broken down this foundation, and you're in the process of breaking it down. And it's just being as gentle, as kind as yourself as you can possibly be, because this is very painful, and also very transformational. Very, very, very transformational. I feel like the collective is going through major transformation, and it's in a different way it's different for all of you, and it's different in the piles, but it's like very, very transformational. There's this trust in reverse. So you're feeling like it may be hard because of this mental conflict to trust that everything's working out, and Spirit's here to tell you that it is working out, and that like you can trust that things are going to be okay. And Spirit, since you're following your heart and you're following this opportunity, trusting that because you're following it and taking action, that everything's going to be working out, that you're going to have the opportunity to grow, and you're going to get into this new space that you want to get into, whatever that is for you. And it's also like the mental conflict may be helped by you being creative, and some of you may be finding that creativity can be a beautiful outlet for your soul and helping others, but not just that, but helping the mental conflict that's happening right now. Be as creative as possible. Art, music, whatever you feel like to be creative, go with that. And be more receptive to spirit and or be more receptive to support, outside resources, and be more receptive to your inner wants and inner needs. And like, this is also transformation happening, is like this inner wants and needs are becoming more important to you. And I think that you've always had this feeling of like, I'm doing something wrong, or I should be doing something. Like, it's almost like there's like this shadow of a person that's still, I see it, like you're here, and then there's someone behind you that's overshadowing you as like this authority figure of like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this. And it's like, could be a parent that was in the past, but it's still, there's still this overshadowing of this figure that maybe in your head that's like telling you that you should be doing things at certain times. And I think you're having this realization that like, that's actually a construct, that an illusion that was put on me when I was a child, and I have total authority over what do I want to do right now in this moment, what's going to make me happy, what's going to make me fulfilled. And it's like being receptive to seeing that being receptive to the voice inside of you that's telling you that wants to be happy, that wants to be fulfilled, that wants to follow creativity, being more receptive to that, and being less receptive to this voice in your head that's saying you should be doing this at this time because you need this, and you're gonna need money, and you're gonna need this. It's like, I have that all the time. It's like, I had to ask myself before I did this video if like, I'm like, I want to do this video for fun. It's like, that should be the goal, instead of like money or security or stability or even followers. It's like, I don't want to move from a space of like just trying to get followers, because that sucks the creativity and it sucks the fun out of this. And it's not my goal anyways. My goal is to help people, and my goal is to be creative and to have fun and to love and to find compassion and love for myself and love for others and to help people. That's my goal. So it's like, what are you moving from? What's your intention? It's like checking yourself at the door before you do something and being like, what's my intention for doing this? Am I doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of love? Am I doing this out of creativity? Or am I doing this out of, I think I have to do it because of blah, 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 right? There's a shadow that's in you and over you that's affecting you when making choices in intentional ways on what you want to do next, whatever you moment to moment. It's like, in one moment, how's my body feeling? How am I feeling? What would be really kind and fulfilling and loving to do for myself right now? And can I do that for myself instead of feeling like I have to do something else because of some invisible figure of an authority in my head that's not actually real, that actually doesn't make me feel good, that actually doesn't help me in any way. It's like, how can you move from a place of fulfillment and love and compassion and kindness and trust and support and receptivity for yourself? And when you move from that space, everything outside of you will work out because you're taking care of yourself. And this is like taking care of yourself on a different level. And I think you're recognizing this. And it's like, continue to take care of yourself at a level that is higher vibrational and more loving. And everything outside of you will work out. Anything else, Spirit? Awareness. Yeah, this is you having this just beautiful awareness of everything that's going on. This is really beautiful. It makes me want to cry because like I have such a hard time with this, and it's like, there's so much freedom in what do I want to do right now for me? Like, I've never done that. I have never done that in my whole life, taking moment by moment and being like, I am now, but you get what I mean? Like, I'm 32, so in the last 30 years, probably the last 2 years I've been doing better at this, but like the last 30 years, I have never once been like, what do I need to do for me right now that would feel really good for me? And I've never allowed myself that because I felt like it was some weakness, and I felt like I was doing something wrong by doing that, because every single time I chose myself when I was a child, I got abused. So it's like, that's like an awareness of like, having the awareness of like, this, what am I doing things out of, and how can I take full control of my life and my inner authority and like love myself in the highest way, because that's what feels good to me and it's my life. There's this feeling of like it not being my life still, like that's what I'm feeling from you guys. Like, there's this feeling of like, this is not my life. I shouldn't be allowed to do whatever I want, but that's totally a trauma space. That's totally a wounding space. But I think you're having the inner awareness to recognize and to recognize that this is a pattern, to see it for what it is, to say thanks for being here, but I'm going to do what I should be doing for me. Also, I see you and I hear that you're trying to keep me safe, but like that actually doesn't feel good, and I want to do things that make me feel good now. And it's being receptive to what makes you feel good, what makes you feel fulfilled, what makes you feel happy, what's going to give you the best ability to rest, to be able to get through this massive transition that you're going through and massive opportunity that you're going after, and like giving yourself that, because that's what's going to help you move through this, being as kind and as compassionate and moving from a heart space and a fulfilled space instead of a mind space. So I really hope this helped. This was really cool, guys. I'm like really proud of you guys, and like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So for today's pick a card, we're doing what big transformation is happening. We have Pine Spirit Purification, 30. We have Spirit Guardian of Winter Retreat, 38. Willow Spirit Flexibility, 48. First quarter moon in Sagittarius, believe in your good luck. First quarter moon in Taurus, release control. First quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. I have all first quarters. We have 56 The Wall, obstacles. 46 Root Girl, disown self. 42 Netcaster, preparations come to fruition. 36 Midheaven, pinnacle. 55 transits, climate. And 24 Saturn, structure. So I didn't recognize until I read the cards that we had first quarter moon, and first quarter moon. So there's something that you're stepping, there's some beginning that has happened, or there's something that you're beginning that is in the beginning stages of something. There's also something to do with your structure. It's like a redoing of the structure of the way that you do things. That's what I'm feeling. And I feel like it's so interesting. Like, I feel like you're all over the place for some reason. I just mean like there's like a pinnacle that you're looking at. There's like something you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're looking at the top of the mountain. And there's like a transit of like a transition stage, and you're re-looking at your structure. And there's this first quarter moon, which is like you being in the beginning of something. So I feel like in a bunch of different areas of your life, there may be different spaces you're in. Like you could be at the beginning of a new job, or you could be at the end of a job and looking at going into a new job. But in your like love life, if you're this person, right, in your love life, there could be like a transition stage, a leveling up of a relationship. Like I just feel like you're in different transitions, but in different spaces of the transitions in the parts of your life. So like you could be beginning a new job and ending a relationship, or you could be like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of I hope you guys know what I mean. And there's this need for flexibility in this like weird transitioning that you're doing in different areas of your life, and different beginnings, middles, and ends in the different transits and the different transitions in your life. I feel like everything is kind of up in the air. That's what I'm seeing, up in the air. And there's a lot of obstacles that you may be looking at. And there's a lot of healing that's happening as well. And I feel like there's just a lot going on for you guys, Pile 3. Like a lot. And there's this need for like retreating and like resting and purifying while you're going through all these different transitions. And there's something that you guys want to do. That's what I'm seeing. It's not like you're not beginning to climb a mountain of something you want to do, but you're looking at where you could be better, where you could be happier, where you could feel more fulfilled in any area of your life. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. There's this feeling of like wanting better, but not really at the point where you're making the decision to go after something different. You're just in the process of like collecting data, collecting information on what you want to do next. And the transformation that's happening is in the inflexibility and releasing control and believing in something and believing that everything's going to work out. There's a transformation that's happening in believing that things are changing for your highest good, and trusting in what's going on, even though everything may feel like really up in the air and really like complicated. It's like finding solace and solitude in yourself, in your inner self, because everything in the 3D may feel very like weird. I feel like this is weird energy of like maybe not knowing like why everything feels so weird, or feeling like uncomfortable, or feeling like you're not in the right place, but you don't really know where to go next. There's this feeling of like not knowing really why you're feeling like your world right now is not fulfilling, but not really not really knowing how to make it better, not really knowing how to make it more fulfilled. And there's this feeling of like needing things to stay the same and also needing things to change. And being in that middle space of like, that space is so uncomfortable because like you want to feel comfortable where you're at, and yet you don't, and you don't know why, and yet you know that there could be something better, but you really don't know what that thing could be or what you really should be doing or what steps to be able to be taking. And what spirit and what I'm feeling really needs to happen is this letting go of the pressure of trying to figure it out and just moving through life and collecting more data about what things make you happy in a very like small way and not in a large way. You could be thinking about things in a larger way of like what could make me happy on a larger scale, but I think that by going about your day and just thinking about what makes you happy in each decision, each moment, will actually open this ability up into being able to see things in a bigger way. Like if you follow your heart in the small decisions that you need to make, that's going to create more understanding of what actually makes you happy and also a more fulfilling feeling in your normal everyday life. And that will open up your ability to see things in a new way and have a new perspective. The transformation that's happening is in your perspective of your life and perspective of what things make you happy and perspective of how to move through your life in a different way that could be more fulfilling for you, but not in an overly pressurized, controlling way. Like in a very freeing way. Like how can you free yourself up in small areas of your life and then like let go of the pressure of figuring out the big questions of life, like job or relationship or moving or whatever the big stuff is. Take that off the table right now. I think that it's overwhelming you and that's not helping you be able to see how to move forward in a more open and smaller way. Like if you can just focus on moment to moment and focus on what is going to give you fulfillment in that moment, that is going to help you so much. Like I can't even tell you, like Spirit is stressing it so much. Like focus on daily life, focus on just gathering information, focus on how do I make the decisions that's going to make me fulfilled in this moment? What makes me feel free? What makes me feel independent? What makes me feel better? Who's the people that I like to hang out that makes me feel better? Where can I give myself more support, more resources? Where can I see where my preparations are coming to fruition? There's this netcaster. It's almost like planting seeds. That's what I'm hearing. Plant the seeds in your daily life, and that will cast your net wider in what makes you happy and where you should be going next. Because I think that you're getting bogged down by the big obstacles and bogged down by this like thinking too big in like what big things do I need to change. And I think you need to practice changing the smaller things, because that practice will help lead up to the bigger things. Take one area of your life at a time if it's too overwhelming to think about it as a whole. It's like breaking everything down in a better way, breaking everything down to make it feel a little bit easier, and breaking down each part of your life in a smaller way. Like let's say you want it like love, right? It's like with love, it's like, how can I break this down into a smaller form of the way I look at it? Almost like I'm trying to think of what an example I could come up with. It's hard. It's like I don't know if love's a good example. Love's harder. I think that love as a concept could be really big right now, and it's almost like breaking it down into like, what do I need to do today to make me feel good about myself, love myself, and what person makes me feel supported in the moment? Not even looking at it as like a relationship, not even looking at it like as like, who should I be with for the rest of my life? I think who should I be with for the rest of my life is overwhelming right now. I think it's like breaking it down into like, who makes me feel supportive as a friend, and how can I like be with that person more as a friend, and how can I mature that relationship into a friendship? That feels much better than like, I need to be with this person because, you know, they could be the future of me, and like, how do I like love, and how do I find a love relationship? It's like, how do you find a friendship? Like, let's find friendships first, and let's take slow steps into like comfort of like, who makes you feel supported, and go that way. Like with a job, right? It's like not finding a new job. It's like, how can I make my everyday existence in my job a little bit more fulfilling? And how can I make my mind or like come up with concepts that inspire me in my job right now? Or how can I even not even be into my job if it's like not, if you're not into your job at all, let's say that you're not into your job. It's like, how can I do creative inspired action that's a project that has nothing to do with a job, that has nothing to do with the pressure of the overwhelmingness of like, I need to make money at this? And how do you get back to the drawing board of what makes you feel creative? What gives you life? What makes you feel excited? What concepts challenge you? What concepts make you want to take them apart? What, like art, music, it could be anything. But like, it's like finding the little things that inspire you, finding the little things in your life that you can grow, that feel really good to you, feel really free and independent and fun and exciting. And like moving into those things it's like rebuilding your structure that's based on fulfillment and happiness, but doing it really slowly and doing it with just the like mundane details of your life. Not even mundane details, but like each moment, ask yourself, what would make me feel really happy, fulfilled, comforted, loved? What would make me feel supported? Or what would make me feel excited, passionate? What gets my mind moving? Like those things, getting into those things instead of the big, I think the big concepts are like really feeling like obstacles to you. And it's not meant to feel like that when you're dreaming, right? It's like, but that's, the dreaming is off limits almost because we have this fear and this resistance to it because it's so big and it's like uncomfortable. So it's like, how can we get into like the smaller details of life and like focus on just like making yourself happy in the moment? Because that's way less pressure and that's way more freeing. And I also feel this feeling of like, I had this in Palo too, where there's this feeling of like this shadow of this person that's over you, that may be a parental figure or something that's telling you you need to do things during the day that like you shouldn't be doing this because, you know, that's lazy, or you shouldn't be doing this because you should be doing this over here because that's going to make money, and you're going to be like screwed if you don't make money, and if you don't do this thing, and you shouldn't be doing that. Like that critical voice is not helping you feel free. And it's like recognizing that that voice is not yours and it's from someone else. And also having the feeling of like, I want to do what makes me feel good, but like not from like a ego point of view, or like a like things that don't make you really feel good, that may feel good in the moment, but like actually don't make you feel fulfilled. It's like getting connected to like what things make you feel fulfilled, that are whole, that are healthy, that are beautiful and like wonderful, and that don't feel too overwhelming. It's like the things that make you feel overwhelmed, back away from those things. The things where you feel like you need to be in control, back away from those things. Back into things that where you feel flexible, things that make you feel like fun, play. I mean, I think that this is just about simplifying things a little bit. I think everything feels really out of control. I think that you're trying to figure out how to move in your life in the big ways. And I think that if you take that off the table, it might take the pressure off, and that actually will open you up. It's like, how can you open yourself up more without pressure, without control, without authority figure looming over you, telling you to do things? And that voice may be very loud because of something that, you know, because of a good reason, because it's there to keep you safe. But it's like recognizing and zooming out a little bit and seeing the voice for what it is, recognizing when it's happening, being very self-aware when this voice is happening, detaching a little bit and seeing it from a point of being instead of a point of this is who I am, seeing it, detaching a little bit into your consciousness of like who you are as a soul. That may be very hard for you to do right now, but if you could just notice, you don't have to do that part, just notice when that voice is coming out, notice it's happening, and recognize that it's not who you are, that it's just a part of you that's coming up to keep you safe, and like being a little bit less, and don't let it like run off, right? Like don't move into it, right? When that voice comes up, you don't like, that's not who you are. It's just a part of you. So don't move into the voice and don't follow the voice where it goes. Like say, hey, I see you, voice, and then like see it, I see you, thank you for being here, and like don't ignore it. But it's also about like recognizing that you're not it. Like recognize that you're not that voice in the moment, and that you don't have to be in that space. And then think, what can I do for myself that would feel really good, that you know, like that would feel really good to me right now? And listening to the part of you that is more free, the part of you that's not afraid, the part of you that trusts in what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel would be very helpful for you guys. This is a lot. You guys are going through a lot right now, and the transformation that's happening is massive because of everything that's up in the air. But it's like transforming, it's almost like this transformation is happening because you have this want for fulfillment. That's why this is happening. So it's like seeing that like you want a more fulfilling life, and also taking off the pressure of that and moving into like moment by moment, slowing down. What would feel good for me in this moment, making the intention clear about, and noticing when your mind's coming up to like take you out of your happiness and take you into fear, like noticing that. And the more you notice that, the more this transformation will take hold and integrate into your soul and to your ego and to your life. And it's like being really flexible with yourself. I think that there's this like holding that's happening, and this I hear anger for some reason, but like, yeah, it's like restructuring yourself to be more flexible with yourself, to find more fulfillment and to find slowness and retreat and rest and rejuvenation for where you're at, to give yourself fuel. Because I feel like the fuel is going into this voice of like, you should be doing this, and I need to control everything, and I have to have this way to be okay. That fuel, there's fuel that will be born if you don't go into the mind space as much. There will be more fuel for you to find more, to put it into things that actually fulfill you more, because I think you're tired because your mind is so loud and your mind is taking control. You are not your mind, right, guys? And it's like, it's a hard concept to get into. But if you can allow yourself to separate from your mind, if you can allow that to happen and not let your mind tell you, oh, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be doing this right now. Don't listen to that. Like, notice that that's happening. Step into your being more, being in the moment. Step into that sensual stuff. If you're having a hard time doing that, being more focused on like, how does my hand feel? Like, how does it feel when I stretch? Like, yoga could be very helpful. Like, stretching, dancing, anything that gets you into your body can be helpful to quiet the mind. But it's also like recognizing and like being a little bit more detached, but not suppressing, right? Feel the emotions, but don't go into the like catastrophizing and move with the mind into a space of fear. Because the more more time your mind spends there, the more tired you're going to be, and the less fuel you'll have for fulfillment, and less fuel you'll have just in general. So it's like, I think just recognizing that your mind's been really active lately, and like giving yourself the permission to not listen to the fear, to not listen to, not move into the mind space in a hijacking way, and detach a little bit. And that's not suppressing, it's feeling, right? Spirit, anything else I need to see for the big transformation? I got love begins and it's sideways. Your mind could be really loud because of a love relationship. That's what I'm hearing. What is this love begins about? I want to go into this a little bit more. Whoa. Memories of love. Oh no, emotional loss. I don't know why I saw memories of love. That's interesting. Emotional loss. So there's some emotional loss that could have happened around love in some recent thing. And that also may be why your mind is so loud. And it's like, recognizing and letting yourself have this. If love didn't work out, it's painful. Giving yourself permission to feel the emotional loss of this. I get this feeling of like, you know, the things that like people decide, society, and if you're a man or woman, doesn't matter, but I'm just thinking about a man's position in this. But like this position of like, you shouldn't be feeling like this because you should be over this, because like, who cares? Like, you don't need this person, or like, you need to grow up, you need to get over it, you need to move forward, like, you're not allowed to feel this because you're like, I'm hearing like weak or whatever, right? It's like recognizing that that's a trauma response, and also giving yourself this feeling of emotional loss. Like, this could be happening to you as a woman too, it doesn't have to be a man, but giving yourself the fact that this freaking hurt, because you had high hopes. That's what I'm hearing. You had high hopes for this, and something didn't work out, and there's an emotional loss from it, and it affected your heart space. It affected your ability to move into your heart space because you shut it down because you didn't want to feel things. And so that might be why your mind's really loud, because it's trying to keep you from feeling. And so it's like, let yourself feel this emotional loss because it's hurt, and it hurt, and it's okay that it hurt. And if the voice is telling you that you should be over this, then like, don't listen to that voice. That's not true. Like, it hurt. Give yourself that. It freaking hurt. It hurt. Give yourself that. Like, it hurt, right? Recognize that it hurt. Let yourself have that it hurt. Something didn't happen here, or it didn't work out, and there's loss here. Feel the loss. And when you feel and move into your heart space of loss, that's going to open you up. Open your heart chakra up, guys. Move into your heart. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. There's so much going on. I have like 50 million cards pop out. Hold on. Okay. Destiny, yeah. Moving through this there's destiny a part of it. I'm talking about all of this. I'm not talking about just the love. There's destiny. You're gaining strength right now. This is about gaining strength and following your destiny. And that's why this may feel, you may be coming up on a lot of conditioning from childhood, because you're feeling this call to move into your destiny, and your ego and your child and your inner child's trying to keep you safe because that's never been safe. There's a way you've been doing things that has been safe, and you're still in that, right? But it's like you're feeling the call towards your destiny, and ignoring the call and or feeling afraid to move in. I don't think you're ignoring the call. I'm just saying it could be part of it, resistance to this, because it's just your inner child and your ego trying to keep you safe. And it's like, but you're feeling the call to your destiny, and that's why this is happening. Yeah, you're feeling a call to your destiny and a new beginning. And that may be really hard to manage, because sometimes when we get really used to doing things a certain way, there's safety in that, right? And this can feel very uncomfortable to even look at the fact that you're feeling the call towards your destiny and a new beginning. But it's like, that's okay. Remove pressure, all pressure, even the pressure of the destiny, remove it all, and focus on your day-to-day and following your destiny, as in like what makes you fulfilled, because your destiny is part of what makes you fulfilled and makes you feel like you have purpose. Follow that in your daily life, and it will open up. Remove the pressure in all situations to ignore it, to move to it, and just let go. Like there's this feeling of just surrendering to accepting what is, but also finding inner fulfillment in your daily life. If you find inner fulfillment in your daily life, it's going to lead you down the path to your destiny. Regardless, finding your heart, following your heart in each decision, in each moment, is going to help lead you to your destiny. And that's, I think, what you need to focus on. Instead of the big picture, focus on the smaller picture, right? The small picture. Focus on that. That's going to help you a lot. Nothingness in reverse. Okay. Whoops, that's a lot. We've got silence, existence in reverse, the master upright, totality in reverse, isolation in reverse, and the outsider in reverse. So there's a lot of feeling of, there's a lot of dichotomies going on right now and dualities. So there's this feeling of not wanting to be alone and needing to be alone to be safe. There's this feeling of wanting to be inside but being the outsider and being comfortable with being the outsider. There's this feeling of like wanting silence, but then yet also coming up against this feeling of nothingness. There's this feeling of like ignoring your existence, but also really feeling aware and intuitive about your existence. There's just like a lot of like opposites going on. And it's like, that's why I felt like there's so much up in the air, because you're like in this transition stage of moving into your destiny and feeling comfortable not moving into your destiny, and moving into fulfillment and feeling comfortable not being fulfilled. And it's like, this is a process. So giving yourself the fact that this is a process and not being so hard on yourself for the fact that this is a total process. Look, I went through this too. I went through this feeling of like, I can't leave. I feel so safe and comfortable here. And yet I know that I'm meant to go and leave and move into a new space and be fulfilled and follow my purpose. And there was a lot of time that went by that I let myself be in this in-between stage, and it's uncomfortable. But I also knew that one day I would move into it and I would choose it. And if you don't choose it, then that's okay too. It's like, you're gonna choose where your heart's going. And the thing that happens is that like it will become more uncomfortable for you to be comfortable. And I think that that's the space you're in. You're like, I've always been comfortable here. Why am I becoming uncomfortable with this comfortableness? And that's your destiny calling you. That's your heart calling you. And it's like, just keep taking one day at a time. You're going to move out of this. This is a process. Remember, it's a process. and just move forward at a pace that you're comfortable with, as comfortable as you can be, right? Being uncomfortable. I mean, it's like trying to figure out how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's what you're doing. That's what the transformation is. Being uncomfortable with the comfortable and not feeling comfortable anymore where you used to feel comfortable. That's what this is about. And you're in a process of transformation, and when anyone's in a process of transformation, you may feel stuck. That's just the process that's happening. You're going to move forward. Keep following your heart in very kind, non-pressured, non-controlled ways and small ways to help open you up to just recognizing what your heart wants. This is also just being about self-aware about what your heart is wanting, and being comfortable with what your heart is calling you to, just getting comfortable with that. And that's a process. It's going to take some time. And it's just about loving yourself as best as you can through this, and giving yourself as much love and compassion and grace, and seeing when your mind is messing you up, just seeing it. If you can notice it once a day, that will be progress. It's like, this is all about taking very, very small baby steps into where your heart wants to lead you, because you've got massive conditioning that has been comfortable, that has kept you safe, that is overriding a lot of this. So it's like recognizing that that's happening, giving yourself compassion because that's there and that's always kept you safe, but also recognizing that your heart is calling you to something different, and taking small steps that are very non-pressured, that make you not feel overwhelmed, to follow your heart into where your heart wants to go. Wow, guys, I'm so proud of you. I think that's all I have for you guys today, though. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.